Well, good morning everybody.
Good morning.
And welcome back to the channel. We had another early start today because we're going on a very exciting adventure in the Huasteca Potosina area.
Yeah, our first stop today is going to be the Tamul Waterfall, which is the highest waterfall in the San Luis Potosi area. And then we are going to be heading on a little bit later to the Sotano de los Golondrinas, which roughly translates to basement of swallows, and there is a very good reason for that name, which you will find out a little bit later in this video.
Doing these two adventures in one day would be impossible by public transport, so we did something that we hardly ever do. Is we basically booked ourselves on an organized tour. We'll leave all the details in the description below. We're getting picked up very soon, so we better get going. We learned pretty quickly that due to the current tourism climate and the fact that the Huasteca Potosina is a bit of a hidden gem outside of Mexico, the tours there are quite often private ones. After being picked up by our English-speaking guide, we arrived at the entrance to the Tamul Waterfalls, ready for our adventure.
Now, to get to see this awesome waterfall, we were gonna have to put in a little bit of work. The adventure starts with a roughly 500-meter walk down to the river through fields littered with more than a few biological landmines, so we had to watch our step. We also came to a small bridge that had a special meaning for anyone visiting the Huasteca.
A lot of people don't want to go with
the bridge. Because the people don't want to get married.
No.
In Mexico.
You can tell if the relationship's going to work or not.
One is there.
Yeah.
We're already married, so...
So there are many different ways you can experience the Tamul Waterfall, but the most popular and the one that we're doing today is to take the pangas, which you can see behind us, the boats, and row up to the waterfall. It's about a 6-kilometer trip there and back, and it takes about an hour to get there because you're paddling upstream, but on the way back you are going downstream, so it's maybe a little bit faster. So yeah, we're gonna go get in our panga and get on the river. How are you feeling?
I'm a little bit nervous. You know, I'm not like a water sport girl.
The river looks super calm though, and very, very blue.
It's very pretty, I must say. After getting into our colourful panga, we began our paddle upstream towards the waterfall. The turquoise colour of the water immediately took our breath away, and the only sounds were our paddles in the water and the birds in the trees. Our guide told us that motorboats are actually banned on the river to protect the beauty of the environment, and we could certainly see why.
About halfway to the waterfall, we had to leave the boats and walk a small section past some rapids that we couldn't paddle up. It was getting hotter and hotter, and the water was starting to look more and more inviting. We had been told that there was little chance of us getting through the day without getting wet, but that would have to wait just a little bit longer.
Eventually, we rounded a corner in the river and Tamul Waterfall came into sight. We climbed up onto a rock in the center of the river where we could view this amazing waterfall and take some pictures. At 105 meter high and almost 300 meter wide, it is a huge waterfall. Unfortunately, from where we were standing and with the equipment we brought with us, we couldn't really appreciate or capture the full scale of it.
It was definitely a quick stop, and we really would have liked to be able to view the waterfall from another angle, but it was time to get back in the boats and head downstream. We stopped to try some fresh water from the river.
Has it?
Before it was finally time to jump into that turquoise water and ride the rapids downstream. After all that rowing up to the waterfall, this is just like the perfect remedy.
We then made a quick stop at a small cenote called Cuevo de Agua, which was a nice rest from rowing and another chance to swim in beautiful blue water, this time inside a natural cave in the rock.
The experience of seeing the waterfall was really cool, but unfortunately with the camera equipment we had, you couldn't really get a sense of that from like using the GoPro and Kitty's phone. So it's a bit of a shame because we would have liked to bring our camera. The camera we didn't bring because it would have got probably pretty wet during the boat ride, which is a real shame because today, especially with the waterfalls, it would have been pretty epic.
We then headed back into the boats, got a little bit wetter, and then made our way back to the dock and back to our car. But our adventure wasn't over yet. We climbed higher and higher into the mountains and eventually arrived at the entrance to the Sotano de Golondrinas, or basement of swallows. After descending many stairs, we arrived at the cave shaft, one of the largest and deepest in the world, with a drop of about 370 meters from its highest side and a maximum width of about 303 meters.
The cave shaft itself was a truly impressive sight, but the real reason to visit this place is for the spectacle that happens every day at dawn and dusk. Thousands of birds call this cave shaft home, and every morning and evening they either emerge or descend back into the cave shaft in a massive flock that covers the sky. It is truly a breathtaking experience and a perfect way to end an adventure-filled day in the Huasteca Potosina. Overall, our day was action-packed, long and definitely tiring, but the experiences we had were unforgettable and made the long hours well worth it. Those are something we generally try to avoid, as we like to experience places in our own time, but in some areas that just isn't possible. And it is also a good way to support local guides, especially in these times when tourism is still recovering. We've got more adventures in the Huasteca coming your way, but if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, leave us a comment and subscribe if you liked it, and we'll see you on our next adventure.